Liberty Nation with Tim Donner.
Well, we all know how profound the changes are likely to be in American society when we finally return to something approaching normal. Some are big, some small, some in between, but a keen observer and prolific writer about cultural and societal trends in this unique era of social distancing and a total absence of public gatherings is the editor-in-chief of LibertyNation.com, Lisa K. Donner, who joins us now. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Tim. How are you in this strange and unusual environment we're living in now?
Well, you and I are figuring ways to navigate it, and we're very blessed in this time, more than many, more than most, I suppose. But
well, let's face it, we're not minding it too much.
No, I mean, we enjoy home life. I mean, we spend a lot of time and money trying to get our home just right, so we like being at home. But what's the first thing you want to throw out in terms of what's bound to change when the dust settles and the smoke clears from this long national nightmare, as Gerald Ford once called Watergate, which was far less important than this?
Well, we certainly all will value bathroom tissue a little bit more, won't we?
I think that's a given, and we'll think more carefully about its dispensation and how much we actually need to use each time we enter the bathroom. But you've got some broader ideas about how society will change.
Okay, seriously. I think Americans have always respected personal space. You know, there's like that zone that you go into that, you know, when you're a little too close to somebody. I think that personal space zone is going to widen a little bit more. I think people will be a little more cognizant of that. I think there really is going to be some cultural changes. For instance, gratuitous shaking of hands in church when they do the sign of peace. They call it the sign of peace. I think that's going to go the way of the dodo bird.
Do you think as a society overreact for a period of days, weeks, months, years to all of this? Will it forever be sort of imprinted on us so that we'll always, you think, going forward, pretty much be reticent of shaking hands?
Well, I think it's a possibility. You know, it's not necessary. I don't think people are going to stop hugging and kissing the people that they love. But I think just, you know, when you meet somebody, it's not necessary really to shake hands. But one really good thing, Tim, that I wanted to mention is that I think Americans who previously were on the fence regarding the Second Amendment may now swing towards supporting it. And I think that's because a record number of first-time buyers have gone to the store to get themselves a firearm. So there could be an attitude shift here.
Well, what about public gatherings, though? Because there's likely to be an attitude shift on that as well. I mean, you'd think on the one hand, because we've been starved of all public gatherings and all private gatherings of really more than about 10 people, and most people aren't even doing that anymore. We've been starved of that, and we've been starved of entertainment and plays and, of course, sports. Do you think the appetite for that, at first, there's probably be an insatiable appetite once it comes back. But do you think in the long run that the need or desire for all these public gatherings is going to be greater or lesser than it is now?
I don't see anybody giving up their Eagles tickets or their Washington Capitals tickets, season tickets anytime soon.
Now, as you look at how big a cultural shift there's likely to be, do you see it as closer to, you know, a 5% cultural shift? Or closer to like a 50% or even greater cultural shift in terms of the overall difference in the culture when this is over compared to what it was before this whole crisis took hold?
Well, I think it depends how long it goes on. And Graham Noble brought up in an article on LibertyNation.com today that the coronavirus isn't simply just going to go away. It's going to return like a seasonal virus. So I think, the longer that kind of thing is out there, the more people are going to want to alter their behavior because they just don't want to get sick.
Now, I'd love to have you comment on the last item that I mentioned in the first segment of the show about the changes that I see coming in American society. And the last one that I pointed out was humility, not just for Americans, but for people across the world. When you sit and stop and realize that all of mankind has been brought low by a virus from a bat. A virus from a bat. Can we ever not be more humble after going through that?
I'm not sure there's going to be a lot of character changes. I think that if you have a propensity to being a humble person, you're going to be humble. But if you prone the other way, I don't see a lot of character changes.
Okay, Lisa, how about the border wall? Now, nations all over the world are closing their borders. Do you think that Donald Trump is going to meet the kind of resistance after this is over that he did before in trying to close off the border, make it more secure, build the wall?
Well, thus far, I don't think Mexico and the Southern Hemisphere has been hit quite the same way, but they will be. And I think there's a good chance that when they are, people are going to think twice about the entire immigration system. I really do. Again, it's sort of like the Second Amendment. Those people that are on the fence, somewhere down the middle, don't really have a big opinion. They're not going to be so hep on people, jumping under and over and whatever barrier that we have.
Security will become a predominant issue, no question, in whatever world develops after the coronavirus finally goes away. Lisa, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Tim.
Lisa K. Donner, editor-in-chief of LibertyNation.com. Quick break, then we'll be back to talk about what changes after the virus we're likely to see across the world.